Hi guys, my name is Omar for Awesome SVGs, and today I'll show you how to create electronic dies for your stamps using the offset feature in Design Space. Sometimes you might have a favorite stamp set that didn't come with a die, or maybe you lost the die, or maybe it's a very old stamp set that you don't remember if they came with a die. What you do in these cases most of the time is fussy cut around the image, but this is very time consuming, and sometimes you want to stamp that image more than once, which makes it even more complicated. With the new offset feature in Design Space, the process of creating electronic dies for your stamps is very easy. First, you need to stamp your image, then take a photo of the image and upload it to Design Space. Then create an offset for that image. Then cut that offset on your good cardstock, and finally print or stamp that offset cut. Now the trick here is making that offset the right size for your stamp. That is why we will create a reference image, in this case a square. So open up Design Space and let's get to work. First, open up a new project and create a square. So go to Shapes and click on the square. And we're going to make this square 1 inch by 1 inch. So go to the size panel, click on that number 2 that you see right there, and type 1. If that lock is closed, the height will be changed as well. So next, go to Make It, select your mat, click on Continue, hook your machine, and cut that 1 inch by 1 inch square. It's a good idea to use a dark cardstock. I'm using black cardstock for this. For this example, we are going to be using a stamp set from a retired company called Oak Tree Stamps. That stamp set name is Bertha. You need to start with a clean piece of cardstock. If it has any speckles, they will show on the photo, so please try to use an eraser and remove any of the smudges and speckles that the cardstock might have. Next, we are going to distribute our elements on the cardstock. Make sure the image, the image that will be stamped, and the square that we just cut fit on the cardstock. I like to use a little bit of repositionable double-sided tape to adhere the square to the cardstock. I'm using a stamp positioner because I want a clear and very sharp image of my stamp. So position the stamp, pick it up with the lid, ink up your stamp very well, and make sure you get a good impression. You can do this with a stamp block, but I like to use my stamp positioner because that way you can stamp several times in the same exact position and you get a crisp image. Now once you have your image, we need to get it ready to be photographed. We are going to use a multi-liner, a Copic multi-liner 0.3. This is a very sharp point marker to get rid of all the corners, the inner corners, sharp inner corners, to make them round. So you will see me here color all those inner corners. The outside corners don't matter, just the inner ones. Just to make sure your outline is very smooth around those corners. So make sure to go over all of them. Even those small creases that you sometimes see on the stamps, like the one on the paw. They call it a paw or a hoof, I think. Okay, once you get rid of all the sharp corners, you will open your camera on your mobile phone or your tablet. Remember that the camera of the phones and the tablets is in one corner of the device. So make sure you point that corner to the image and you keep that corner on top of the image all the time. Okay, try to center the camera with the center of the image. Now, don't get the phone or the mobile device too close because you'll start seeing shadows on the image. We don't want those. Instead, put your phone far away and zoom in using the optical zoom on your device. Make sure the stamp and the square are on the image. And also use those reference lines to align the square. It doesn't have to be perfect. Once you're done, take a photo of it, and we're going to edit that photo on our device. I'm using an iOS device, so first straighten up your image, put it right side up, and here is where you can also make sure that square is parallel. The sides of the square are parallel to the image. We're going to crop the image to get rid of everything that we don't need. And then we're going to use the adjustments to edit the image. Now always use the auto feature and pull it all the way up. Then we will overexpose that image to make all the whites very, very white. And we are going to amp up the brilliance and the highlights, pull the highlights all the way up. Next, we will brighten the shadows a little bit, not too much. And then we're going to increase the contrast. This is to make the white and black very different from each other. Now amp up the brightness, the black point also just a little bit, not that much. And the saturation, desaturate the image completely and pull the vibrance down also 100%. Warmth and tint are not important at this point, but the sharpness is. So make sure the image is very sharp and also amp up the definition of the image. Do not use noise reduction or vignette. Then click on Done, and your image will be saved. Now, as you can see, if you zoom in using the pinch zoom, you will see that the square is still there and that all the edges are very sharp. Now let's take the image to Design Space. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is open our Design Space app and tap on New Project. Next, we're going to upload our image, so click on Upload and select from Photo Library. Select the image that we just took a photo of, and here you have it. So the first thing we're going to do is clean this image up. So first, click on the Remove icon to the left, crank it all the way up, and select any of the blank space around the image. Do not select the square or the stamp, and this will remove everything around the image. Next, we're going to erase all of those small shapes or small smudges that we have here. So make your brush the right size, your eraser the right size, and then erase the edges that you don't need. It's a good idea to make sometimes the brush larger than your finger so you can see around. And once you are happy with the result, click on Next. This is a very important step. We're going to get rid of all of these jagged edges so the outline is clean. So for that, click Smooth and then start clicking on the Smooth tool until you start seeing this line become more uniform. So click on it as many times as you need to make this line very clean. Do not worry about those corners that start looking a little bit sharp. Don't worry about that. Once you're done, click on the speckle and crank it all the way up, and then click on Next. We're going to name our project, select Cut, and write a name for the project. I will call this Bertha, which is the name of the stamp set. And then click on Upload. And your images, your upload images will be shown. So here, selected, and click on Insert. Here you have it. Next, we need to make this the right size. So we're going to first create a square, So tap on square right here and a new square will be created. Tap on it and then click on edit. We're going to make this 1 inch wide by 1 inch height. Let me change the color also by tapping on the basic cut operation and make it bright orange and click on apply. Now here we have a 1 by 1 square and we need to make our square the same size. So align your square to the orange square and start making your image smaller until it matches the orange square. You can zoom in to make sure it's the right size. And then you can tap on the top square and hide it to see if it's the right size. I think it's a little bit larger than our image, so let's make our image a little bit larger. There you go. Now I think it's the right size. There you go. Now we're going to hide this square. Tap on the image that you uploaded and then click on actions and tap on contour. Tap on the square to make it disappear and then tap on contour again to go back. And here tap on edit and go to offset and create an offset that fits your needs. I have found that a 0.06 inches offset is fine. Next, tap on done. Let me change the color for this by clicking on the offset operation to make it yellow so you can see better. And there you have it. Here's the outline for your stamp. Remember to hide the original image so it won't be cut. And then go to make it. Now this is a good way to create an offset. You can use the original image just in case you want to create like a fussy cut for your stamps. And you can use the yellow one for the offset if you want the white outline around your stamp. Finally, once you have cut the outline, you will stamp your image on that offset path. Now here I'm using a stamp block. I'm not very good with stamp blocks, so I'd like to use a stamp positioner that I'll show you how to do next. Because with stamp blocks, you don't always get it right. I mean, not me at least. As you can see, the top is not very spaced out and is not even all around. So what I do on a stamp positioner is use a scrap piece of copy paper. This is colored copy paper. You can do it in white. I'm doing it in yellow so you can see better. And make sure the negative space of the die cut fits around the image. So put your stamp, pick it up with a lid, ink up your stamp. You don't need a very dark impression. You just need an idea of where the stamp is. Now align that negative space around the image. Make sure it is distributed evenly on all sides. Then put your die cut in. Now you're going to ink up your stamp very, very well. And you're going to print on the die cut. You can do this several times if you're using a stamp positioner. That's a good thing about this. And here you can see the difference between the image printed using a stamp positioner and a stamp block. You can see the one on the left is evenly distributed around the image. And that's how you create offset cuts for your stamps. Now, if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell button next to the subscribe button to be notified every time a new video is uploaded. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again very soon. Bye-bye.